Hello students. Next we will move on to the next technique, that is branch and bound. Okay. In the last to cope up with the limitations of algorithm power, we have two techniques, backtracking and branch and bound. Backtracking is already seen. So now we will move on to branch and bound. Branch and bound is nothing but it is just an enhancement of your backtracking. Okay. And here it is applicable to the optimization problems. There we have seen that backtracking is applicable to the combinatorial problems, but here it is applicable to the optimization problem. So when you say it as optimization problem, there are two different categories. One is maximization and minimization. In a maximization problem, the optimal solution which you may get different solutions, but here we are depending upon the value also. The optimum value will be, for a maximization problem, it will be a maximum value, and for a minimization problem, it will be a minimum value. So for each and every node to get a partial solution, for the state space tree, what we do is we will be computing a value. So the value which we are going to compute will be depending upon some functions. Whatever the objective functions we take for all the descendants of the node where you are extending your partial solution, we will be calculating a bounded value. When you have a maximization problem, we go for calculating the upper bound value. When you have a minimization problem, we do calculate for the lower bound value. So the bounded values which you are going to calculate will be depending upon the type of problem which you have taken. So now when you say the bounded value, this bounded value, when you are applying it in the state space tree, for certain nodes, we will be ruling out as considered as non-promising nodes by comparing the values. Since there is a bounded value, we need to now compare. If it is a minimization problem, whichever gives you a least value, that will be taken as a partial solution. If you have a maximization problem, then we will be calculating the lower upper bound we would have calculated. So we will be seeing what is the maximum value. So based on that, we will be ruling out certain nodes. So that will be your guidance for the state space tree too. So now compared to the backtracking, when you say it as the branch and bound, it requires to additional items. What are the items? When you say it as the bounded value, there is some method for calculating it by using an objective function. And you will be having some components which will be added upon for finding the bounded value for getting a partial solution. The best value of the best seen solution will be taken for the branch and bound method. So in general, when you see it as the state space tree, when you will be terminating the path, when you say that the value of the nodes bound is not better than the value of the best solution seen so far, we will be just ignoring it, or we terminate the search path. Otherwise, second option is, if you are given with the node represents no feasible solution because the constraints are not being satisfied. For each and every problem, you need to satisfy certain constraints. So if the constraints are being violated, then also we will say that it is a non-promising node. Now, when you say it as the third reason for considering it as, or we terminate it, or we don't consider it as a promising node, when it is the subset of the feasible solution represented by the node will be consisting of some point, which is called as the simple point. Now you compare the value of the objective function for this feasible solution with that of the best seen solution so far, and you need to update the latter with the former if the solution is considered to be a better one. So if you get a better solution, you are moving ahead only with that particular node. So when you consider the better one, we say that that is the most promising one. When you have different promising nodes, among the promising nodes, you will be seeing which is the most prominent one. The most promising node is the one which either has a least value in a minimization problem or has a largest value in the maximization problem, because for each and every node now we calculate the bounded value. So when you calculate the bounded value, you will be comparing the nodes and you will be seeing which is the best one. So this is how we go ahead for the branch and bound technique. So now when you say it as the branch and bound technique, you are given with various problems. There are 3 problems given. The first one we will see into is your assignment problem. So you need to select the function. There will be certain constraints also. Constraints has to be satisfied, and based on the constraints, we will be solving the problem. So you have the assignment problem, you have the traveling salesperson problem, and also you have the knapsack problem. If you consider the traveling salesperson problem and the assignment problem, it belongs to the minimization category, where you will be calculating the lower bounded value. If you consider the knapsack problem, it is the maximization problem, where you will be seeing it as a maximum value or the upper bound value. Okay, so now we will and not confuse it with all the 3. We will first start with the assignment problem. When you say it as assignment problem, it is basically there will be different jobs will be there and different persons will be there. If there are n jobs, n persons will be there, and each person is going to be assigned with a job, and see to that no 2 persons should be assigned with the same job. So when you say that, it is nothing but it says that no 2 selected elements are in the same column. So for person A, if I have chosen job 1, I am not supposed to select the job 1 for person B. I need to go with the other 3 choices. So once job 1 is assigned to person A, then for person B, you will be left out with only 3 jobs. If you assign person B with job 2, then person C will be having or left out with only 2 jobs. Now, if you assign person C with job 3, then person D will be left out with only 1 job. This is how you are going to assign it. Now, whenever you assign it, you cannot assign it randomly. You should see to that the sum of all the assignment is going to be a minimum value. You minimize it because this is a minimization problem. We aim for a minimum value. So here we need to calculate the lower bound value. Any solution to this problem, if you see, it should have at least a minimum of whatever it's been given for the least value. See here for person A, what is the least value among these 4? The least value is, it is 2. Similarly, for person B, what is the least value among all these 4? The least value is nothing but it is, you are saying that it is 3. For person C, among all the 4, what is the least value? The least value is nothing but it is 1. For person D, if you see among all these 4 values, the least value is nothing but it is 4. So what is 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4? 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1, 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So you are going to have a lower bound value initially, where you are just ignoring the jobs and all. Okay. You, for each person, you are going to consider. You are going to consider only the least value. You find the sum of all these least values and you will be getting a value as it is nothing but it is equal to 10. So which means whatever solution you are getting, the solution should have at least a minimum 10. It will be more than this, definitely, because see here itself you can see that a person B is assigned with job 3, person C is also assigned with job 3, which is violating your constraints. So when we go ahead by solving the problem, the value may increase, but it says that at least a minimum of 10 will be there as a solution. It will be either 10 or more than 10, but it will not be less than 10. Clear? So now we will solve this problem. So as I told you, person A, when it comes as person A, how many choices are there? You have A with the job 1, A with the job 2, A with the job 3, A with the job 4. Now, when you take A with the job 1, what will be the value? The value is 9. So you have taken it as 9. Now, in B, you see what is the least value. The least value again it is 3. For person C, the least value is 1. Person D, the least value is 4. Don't see any other constraint. We are just only seeing it for person A. Now see to that person BCD is not having job 1. That's it. Otherwise, you can go for the minimum value. So we have assigned all the values. We got it as 17. We calculated the lower bound. Now, A is going to be assigned with job 2. What is the job 2 value? The job 2 value is 2. So person B, what is the least value? 3. Is it job 2? No. So we can take it. Person C, the least value is 1. Is it job 2? No. So you can take it. Person D, the least value is 4. Is it job 2? No. So you can take it. So the total value is 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4, which is equal to 10. Now, A is going to be assigned with job 3. What is the value of job 3? Job 3 is 7. Now, look into here. We have told that the same job should not be assigned to another person. Since we are confirming that job 3 is going to be assigned to A, we should not, even though 3 is the least value for B, 3 belongs to job 3, we are not supposed to take 3. Move to the next minimum value. The next minimum value is, here it is 4. Similarly, for person C, the least value is 1. Can you take it? No, because already we are saying that person A is assigned with job 3, so we are not supposed to. So we will be taking with the next value. Then what is the next value? The next value is 5. So we have taken 5 here. Next, person C, person D, it is 4. 4 is not job 3, so we can take it. So 7 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4 is 20. Clear? So now we move with person A with the job 4. Now, when you go for job 4, what is the value of 4? Job 4 is 8. Next, can you take 3? Yes. Why? It is not job 4, so we can take it. Now, person C, again the value is 1. Again, it is not job 4, so we are taking it. Now, come to person D. Person D here in this row, if you see, the least value is 4. But unfortunately, it is job 4. Job 4 is already assigned to A, so we are not supposed to take it. So we move ahead with the next least value. What is the next least value? 6. So 8 plus 3 plus 1 plus 6 is 18. Clear? So this is just your first level where A is having all the 4 choices. But what happens next? For the person B, do you have all these 4 choices? No, definitely no. Why? Because from these choices, we would have found out one choice to fit for A, which is the most promising. All these doesn't violate your constraint. So which means all these are considered to be the promising nodes. Among the promising node, which one will be considered as the most promising? Most promising node is node number 2. A is assigned with the job 2 and your lower bound value is 10. Compared with the other values, node 1 is 17, node 3 is 20, node 4 is 18. So compared with all the other three values, node 2 is having a least value. So it is a minimization problem. So we are calculating the lower bound value, and since it is a minimization problem, we move ahead with the least value, which is 10. Now, the value is 10. Now, for A is already assigned with job 2. So this has to be discarded. So now what is the three choices for B? B is left out with job 1, job 3 and job 4. He is left out only with three choices. In the initial thing itself, I have told you, when a person A is having 4 choices, B will be having only 3 choices. Next again, person C will be having only 2 choices. Each stage it will be keep on reducing by 1. The choices, number of choices or the number of children gets reduced. So here you are saying that B is having it as 1, B is having it as 3, and B is having the choices 4. You are saying either job 1, job 3 or job 4. So now in this case, you need to calculate the lower bound value. How will you calculate the lower bound value? You have to see that. Okay, so here I've given it what the calculation is. Okay, the same structure, we are taking only this part for calculating the node number 5, 6 and 7. Now, node number 5, if you see, already we are saying it as person A with job 2 and its value is 2. So for node number 5, 6, 7, we are taking it as only 2. So first we will complete node 5. Okay, if you see this node 5, what is for job person A? Person A is with job 2 and the value is 2. Now person B, we are saying it as job 1. Job 1, what is the value? Value is 6. Got it? Next, person C, if you see what is the least value, the least value is 1. It is neither for job 1 nor for job 2. So we can take 1. Now, for person D, if you see what is the least value is 4. Again, it is based on job 4. So it is neither job 1 nor job 2. So we can take it. It is not violating your constraint and you have got a total value of 13. Now, come back to, so now you got to know how to calculate the node value. Yes. So now we will see for node 6 how it has to be calculated. If you come to node 6, how the calculation is being done? So here we are saying that when you come to node 6, if you see, you can see that the node values are nothing but it is saying that you have to assign same person A with the same job, which is 2. So the value will be 2. Person B with job 3. What is job 3? Job 3, the value is 3. Person C, what is the least? 1. But can you take 1? No. Why? Because already we have assigned person B with job 3. So it cannot be taken. Now, can you take this one, job 1? Yes, it is possible. So we will be taking job 1 whose value is 5. So it is being taken. Now, person D, if you see the least value is 4, that is also considered. So 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4, which is equal to 14. So node number 6 is calculated as 14. Have you understood? Is it clear? I will repeat it once again. Job 2 is taken for person A. Person B, if you see, the choice is 3, so that we have taken the value as 3. Now person C, if you see, the least value is 1, but 1 is already is job 3 and it's already assigned to B, so we cannot choose it. We need to move to the next value. The next value is 5, so we have taken it 5. Person D, if you see, the least value is 4 and you have taken it as. So the values are 14. Now we need to calculate node number 7. If you see nodes number 7, what is the value? Person A with job 2, so the value is 2. Person B with job 4, which is 7. Person C, what is the least value? Least value is 1. It is of job 3. It is neither job 2 nor job 4, so you can take it up. Now, when you come to person D, the least value is 4. But we are saying that B is going to be assigned with job 4. So you cannot take this. So you will be moving on to the next value. The next value is 6. 6 is for job 2. Job 2 already we have seen that it is assigned to job person A. So we will be moving on to the next value. Next value is 7. So totally you have got it as 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 7, which is equal to 17. Have you understood? Is it clear? Okay. Here, person A with the job 2, so 2. Person B with the job 4, so it is 7. Person C with the job 3, 1, which is job 3, that is also considered. But person D, if you see, the value is, least value is 4. 4 is already assigned to, it is job 4. So it is already assigned to person B. So you cannot take it. Next least value is 6. 6 is for job 2. Job 2 is person A is already assigned with the job 2, that you cannot take it. So now we will be moving on to 7. 7 is with respect to job 1. It is not assigned to any persons. So we will be taking it. So which you have 17. So among node number 5, 6, 7, which is the most promising, all three are promising nodes. Perfectly you are correct. But which is the most promising one? The most promising one is node number 5. So now we need to evaluate node number 5. Node number 5, if you see, we have already seen the choices for person A with job 2, person B with job 1. So C will be left out with only 2 jobs, that is 3 and 4. If person C is assigned with job 3, then person D will be assigned with only 1 job, that is 4. If person C is going to be assigned with 4, person D is going to be assigned with the left out, which is job 3. So now we need to know how to calculate the values. The calculation is very simple. We'll see it. So you have node number 8 and node number 9. How will you calculate node number 8? Now if you see node number 8, person A with job 2, which is 2. Person B with job 1, person B with job 1 is, the value is 6. Person C with job 3, that is nothing but it is 1. Person D with job 4, that is nothing but 4. So 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 4, which is equal to 13. So you are writing here as the cost as 13. Now we'll see the next assignment. Person A with the job 2, person B with the job 1. Now person C with the job 4 and person D with the job 3. So corresponding values, A with the job 2 means it is 2. Person B with the job 1 means it is 6. Person C with the job 4 means it is 8. Person D with the job 3 means it is 9. So 2 plus, so we are going to see what is the value. What is the value for node 9? It is 2 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9, which is equal to 25. So among these two, which is the optimal solution? Whether node number 8 is the optimal solution or 9 is the optimal solution. We need to keep in mind that this assignment problem is nothing but it is a minimization problem. So obviously, whichever has a least cost, that will become your optimal solution. So now the optimal solution is nothing but it is 13. So finally, for this solution, what is the assignment. The assignment is nothing but we say that the assignment is nothing but we are saying that it is corresponding to a feasible solution where you have the assignments as A with the job 2, B with the job 1, C with the job 3 and D with the job 4, whose total cost is equal to, here also we have calculated the value. The cost is nothing but it is 13. So this will be your solution. This in the same level we got it. So this is an inferior solution. All these are the non-promising nodes. Why? We get a better solution. Now, here, if suppose when you are in this level, if you take 13, you have compared with 14 and 17. You need to also compare with node 1, 3 and 4. If any of these nodes are having a least value, either 13 or less than 13, then we have to do this also. So I have given you another problem with another set of assignments. Okay, where you will be getting 7, 2, 5, 6 for person A, B, C, D. We have seen. Now, if you find out the solution, here we have 20, 14, 19, and 18. 14 is the least value, so you have taken that as the most promising node. Now, when you go ahead with, you will be getting 3 choices for B, B with 1, 3 and 4. Among 3 and 4, if you see, both are having 17. So both are considered to be the most promising and they have to be generated further. So when you are generating it further, whichever gives you a least value, that will be your solution. So this is another problem where you can, so you, whenever you get a optimal solution, you please compare it with the previous levels and find out what is the lower bound value. If your lower bound value is greater than 10, no, node number 10, which is your optimal solution, node number 10 is your optimal solution. If it is greater, then you need not generate it further. Or else, if it is not greater, if it is less than, then you need to generate these nodes also. So this is another example which which I have given to you. At the end of this chapter, we will be discussing about this problem, and you need to work it out and check how we obtain the solution with the optimal value. Okay, so this is your assignment problem. The next class we will move on to the next problem. So we will check for the problem in the next class. Okay, so this is all about your assignment problem, and I will be giving you some problems at the end where you need to work it out. Next class we will see the next problem.